Hi and welcome to the running channel. I'm Anna and today I'm going to be talking about things that aren't running. Dum dum dum. Don't panic though, this is all to do about making your running better, because today we're talking about cross training. When should you do it? What should you be doing? What's the best kind of cross training for runners? I'm going to answer all of those questions for you in this video. First up though, if you're new around here, please do subscribe to the running channel. It really helps us continue to make new videos all about running, which we do every week. Tap the bell icon to get notified when we do, but for now, let's dive straight in. People usually look to cross train for one of two different reasons. One, it might be that you're injured and you're looking to maintain your fitness during that period of injury if you can't run. And the other one might be because you're looking to supplement your running and to get stronger and improve. So cross training really is a lower impact exercise. So it uses different kinds of muscle groups and can also help strengthen your muscles. But while you might be proficient in running already, if you're looking to take up a cross training activity, just be aware that it might take some time to make sure that you get the form absolutely right, because you are working different muscles in your body. So some of the benefits to cross training are you'll improve your cardiovascular fitness. Many cross training activities are great cardiovascular workouts and build on the kind of work that you're already doing while you're running. It can also help you to avoid injury because you're using different movements, and because it's lower impact, it means that you can work on areas that you might not otherwise be able to focus on whilst you're out running. And it can provide a great variance for you that's doing something that isn't running. I know it pains me to say that, but sometimes we do get bored of going out and running all the time. Being able to go and cross train gives yourself a mental break from running, which actually can be particularly important for those people who are training for long distance events like marathons or even ultras. Choose your activity based on your goals. You might want to consider different types of cross training depending on what your needs are. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to run through the non-running activities that can help support your running. We are, after all, the running channel. So what are the purposes of the different types of cross training? So first up is aerobic, so improving your aerobic fitness. So these are any kinds of activities where you can improve your endurance. Then there's anaerobic, so think the shorter, sharper, interval type work. Basically anything intense enough that's going to cause lactate to form. Then you've got strength work, so any kind of activity where you are building strength within your muscles, so thinking things along the lines of weights, that kind of thing. Then you've got power, so thinking like explosive plyometric movements, anything that's going to increase maximum strength. Then there's coordination and technique, so learning the correct movement patterns, which in turn can help prevent against injury. Remember though, not all cross training is made equal, and as you start running more, it might be worth thinking about dropping out one of your runs and replacing it with some easier aerobic cross training. So thinking something like swimming or cycling, they're a great alternative to running. But just be aware that a 30-minute easy run is not the same as a 30-minute swim or cycle. That's not necessarily a bad thing either. Taking it easy can help you adapt to your training and also avoid injury. But for example, if you are injured and you want to closely mimic the fitness that you would be getting through running, but you can't do it because it's high impact, then if you're swimming or cycling, then think about training for longer than that 30 minutes or introducing some higher intensity intervals in order to get the same kind of benefit. And we're going to go into more detail in that in a bit. With swimming, you'll need to take shorter recoveries than you ever would if you were running. And that's because you'll notice, especially if you wear a heart rate monitor, that your heart rate drops back down really quickly after an effort during swimming. So thinking of recoveries of only around 15 to 20 seconds. And think of swimming as you would with a running session. So you could try, for example, 10 times 2 minutes of efforts in the pool. So pick a set distance that you think it will take you 2 minutes to swim, and then put those recoveries in between. You can also bulk out the workout by increasing your warm-up and your cool down at either end, so you've got a really good amount of time in the pool, and that will help you focus on your aerobic fitness. If you want to focus on your anaerobic fitness with swimming though, then try this instead. When you're doing your lengths, try and hold your breath for a bit longer. So hold it for a couple of extra strokes, and that way you can build on your anaerobic focus by using swimming. Aquajogging is another way that you can use your pool to do cross training, and it might seem a little bit bonkers to the uninitiated, me included. But basically you get a special aquajogging belt which you strap around your hips, and that acts as a flotation device. Then you've got to find a pool that is deep enough for you to not be able to touch the bottom. That's easier said than done at times. Then basically just mimic your running movement whilst you're in the pool. So really focus on driving your arms and cycling those legs whilst you're doing it. You will move forward very slowly, so it's a really good idea to do this at a time when the pool is nice and quiet, and definitely not in the fast lane because you will annoy people if you do. This is another exercise that you can replicate your running reps with. So thinking about doing one length and then recovering, for example. But again, as with swimming, keep those recoveries nice and short, so 15 to 20 seconds. Cycling uses different muscles to running, but is a great low impact way of getting a good aerobic or anaerobic workout. Now, most gyms these days have really good bikes, and the best things to use are ones like watt bikes for your workouts. So some time spent getting the handlebars and the saddle in the right position is time well spent, as it can help you to avoid injury and putting extra pressure on areas that you don't need to be doing while cycling. So if you need a hand with doing that, then don't be afraid to ask someone at the gym to help you out. Look to maintain a cadence in RPM of around 90, and to those people who don't cycle very much, that might feel quite fast to start with, but the idea being is that you are not trying to then grind out a high resistance and a slow cadence, which can put extra pressure through your knees. If you feel like you're going to end up doing a lot of cycling, then it might be worth investing in proper cycling shoes which clip into pedals using cleats. And the idea behind this is that it helps you pull the pedal up using different muscles, and therefore making that RPM feel a little bit easier because you've got a little bit of extra help. And lots of spin classes these days will help provide data and metrics, things like heart rate and power, which, if you're like me and a little bit competitive against yourself, can be really motivating to keep going. So most people will be familiar with the elliptical machines at the gym. They're also sometimes known as a cross trainer. They're very easy to use, and you can decide whether you're going to use your arms and your legs or just your legs. In fact, when I first started running and did marathon training, and it was suggested to me to use some cross training into my schedule, I thought it just meant using the cross trainer at the gym. I'm sure I'm not the only one, I hope. Anyway, so the cross trainer or elliptical is a great alternative to the bike when it comes to mixing things up with your cross training for running, because you're using the same running motion, it's just lower impact. And interestingly, in a study in the 2010 Journal of Strength and Conditioning, it was found that at the same perceived effort, the same amount of oxygen was being used by people using the elliptical as they were on the treadmill. So it is a great workout. If you want to use the elliptical as your cross-training method, then start off by emulating what you would be doing on your running session. So don't forget your warm-up and your warm-down as well, and then do your session as you would do if you were running, but on the elliptical. As you get more and more advanced with it and you get used to it, then try and cut those recovery times down during your intervals, if that's what you've chosen to do on the elliptical, for the same reasons as we talked about during the swimming section, because it's lower impact, so you need less time to recover. Most gyms will have rowing machines, and it's really important to make sure that you focus on getting the technique right with this. Ask an instructor if you're unsure, or it could even be worth setting up your phone to record at the side of you so that you can see if you're doing it right. Now, what you're looking for is a straight back and really lead with the leg drive, then let your arms follow afterwards. You can check out the British Rowing website for some more tips on how to do it properly and to compare to the phone footage that you shot of yourself trying it out. Yoga and Pilates both have benefits to runners, but when we think of them in a cross-training sense, it's probably more applicable that they are for runners who are perhaps sidelined through injury and need to work on rehabilitation, or for runners who are trying to improve their strength work. So thinking back to the start of this video, when we talked about the different types of benefits of cross-training, these certainly fall into the strength category. Now, Pilates was actually developed as a way for World War I soldiers to rehabilitate, and it really focuses on core strength as well as spinal strength. And in a study of runners, it was found that runners who undertook a 12-week course of Pilates, so 2 one-hour sessions per week, actually did see a vast improvement in both their 5K running times and their VO2 max. So there's certainly plenty of benefits to doing Pilates. But both yoga and Pilates also provide a way to have a bit of a break and a mental switch off. So the meditative side of these two activities can also be really beneficial to your running as well, because we talk a lot about rest and recovery and switching off, and how that can actually give you improvements to your running as well, because you're not constantly doing the same thing. So when it comes to yoga and Pilates for cross-training for runners, they're definitely something to think about, but perhaps adding them into your schedule as an addition rather than an alternative is the way to go about it. Free weights and machines can be intimidating, but they are proven to improve your running form and efficiency, and they can make you a stronger and more resilient runner. So traditionally, it was thought that endurance runners should try and include weights that are lower but using higher reps instead of using a high weight with lower reps. But recent science has actually found that a mix of both actually won't hurt. The main thing to remember with this though is your technique and getting it right. So seeking advice and support through doing different exercises is really key. Like with the rowing, you can also use your phone to record yourself from front on and side on, and keep checking in to make sure that your form on these exercises is spot on. Some examples that we'd recommend from a running specific perspective include squats, split lunges, which you can also make a little bit more difficult for yourself by putting your back foot up on a bench, walking lunges, which you can do either just with your body weight or with dumbbells or kettlebells. You can do deadlifts or make it a bit harder for yourself and do Romanian deadlifts. There's also machines at the gym to do leg press, hamstring curls and leg extensions. And don't neglect your upper body either. A lot of runners tend to hunch forward, especially when they get tired. So using the cable machines for rowing motions or lat pull downs are also good to do for runners. Circuits are another way of combining strength training with aerobic workouts, and the good thing about them is that you can include body weight movements, so you don't even need any fancy equipment and you can pretty much do them anywhere. So if you think about things like core movements including plank and dead bugs for example, then you can do push-ups, tricep dips, and everybody's favourite, including mine, burpees. If you are injured and therefore unable to run, then cross-training is a great way to be able to maintain your fitness or address and rehab any injuries. Not only that though, it can also be a real boost to your mental health, especially if you're a bit sad that you can't get out and run. But if you're constantly ploughing up and down the pool, or perhaps you're staring at the handlebars of a bike, then that can be demotivating. So be sure to mix it up, change your activities, try a combination of a few of the ones that we've talked about in this video, and also mix up the sessions that you're doing as well. Throw in some intervals, do bursts here and there. Don't repeatedly do the same thing, because not only will that keep it interesting for you, but it'll also work different muscles, different parts of your fitness, and therefore have more of a benefit. So what is the most effective cross-training for runners? Well, the answer is whatever works for you, really. What's your favourite type of cross-training? Maybe it's one that we've not actually covered in this video. Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the Running Channel.